Why the fuck is this guy wearing Kevlar? Why is this guy so fucking jacked? It's because I gotta stay ready. With these recent layoffs, right? The tech industry, it's not the same. I had to resort to different measures of making millions. What's going on, everyone? Today is a very fantastic day. It's a fantastic day because we're making our debut into the hacking scene, into the YouTube hacking scene. We're gonna kick things off with UnderPass. It's an easy machine. It just recently got retired, so I'm able to post a walkthrough about it. You know, this channel, it's none of that geek shit. You have to take matters into your own hands. You know, these JOBs, you know what JOB gets you? It gets you laid off. It gets you thrown in the dungeon, forgotten. And we're not trying to be forgotten. We're trying to be lethal, violent. Anyhow, enough of the rant. Let's go ahead and kick things off. The first thing I like to do is get quick wins. Quick wins contributes to momentum. Let me write out this command and then I'll go ahead and run through it. All right, so like I mentioned, I like quick wins. So this is an nmap command for a quick win, right? A quick scan. So we have the enumerate for top 1000 TCP and UDP with the UFlag UDP ports with a max retries of 2, host time out of 5, and a min rate of 1000. This is a pretty quick scan. So as you can see here, it took seconds to come back with this scan, and we can see that we have port 22, which is SSH, 80, HTTP, and 161 SNMP. Let's go ahead and run something a little bit longer. Okay, so we're running a enumeration for scripts, versions, and we're scanning for all TCP ports, and we're outputting it to nmap all TCP, right? And in the meantime, while that is running, let's go ahead and take a look at port 80, right? See what's out there. You know what, actually, let's go ahead and 10.10.11.48, and it is UnderPass hack the box, double quotation, and we'll redirect it to our Etsy host. Okay, we'll come back in here, port 22, SSH. There's not really much we can do with SSH, right, unless we actually do have credentials. Then we have 80, we have HTTP 2452, we have an Apache server serving up a default page. Here we go, right here we have Apache 2 default page. There's usually never really much going on here, so let's go ahead and move on here. The only other thing we can go and do here is enumerate port 161. Let's go ahead and clear our screen, and let's run a snmp-check, and we'll run 10.11.48 and trying to connect to port 161, and here we go. System information, we have the host IP address, host name, description, contact location, uptime, and more information in regards to time and date. We see UnderPass.hackthebox is the only Dallo Radius server in the basin. Neat little clue from the creator. This is the clue here, Dallo Radius server. So Dallo Radius is a web management application, right? And if we do a quick search, it is an advanced Radius web platform aimed at managing hotspots and general purpose ISP deployments. Okay, what else can we find in here? We see Steve at UnderPass.hackthebox, which could potentially be a username. We can actually run a script on nmap to see if we can find anything else on this particular port. Let's go ahead and run that nmap. The enumeration for port 161 doesn't really give us much, but it does tell us that you know, SNMP is active. So basically the only clue and the only lead that we have here is this Dallo Radius server that is in the basin. We can try something like Dallo Radius on our URL, and we have a forbidden. So we do know that we have a server, but we don't have access to it. So what can we do here? Given that this is the only lead that we have to enumerate further, right? We have to enumerate this this directory here, see if we can get access to anything else. So the tool that I like using is FFUF. It's a pretty good tool, pretty dynamic, fantastic. It's malicious. I like it. Right, so let's go ahead and type out this command here. Let's go ahead and get fucking malicious here. It already found a directory, and let's go ahead and run to that, right? Let's see what we got going on here. So we get a 403 forbidden. So we get a 403 forbidden, but we know that it's in there. So anyways, let's see if this has this finished. We find this operator's login page, right? And the operator's login page for Dalo Radius is the default admin panel, right? The next step here is to start looking for default credentials. With a quick Google search, we find administrator for the username and Radius for the password. Of course, we have a success with the default credentials. We're going for quick wins, and quick wins leads to SVC Mosh, and it gives us a password. And this looks like an MD5 hash, right? The module for that, I believe it's the very first one. If we go into Hashcat, if we go into the modules, yep, if we see MD5, it's 0. What is SVC Mosh? Let's do a quick search for what is Mosh service. Mosh is a Linux command line program that acts as a remote terminal similar to SSH, but designed for mobile and intermittent network conditions. Okay, so it's an SSH alternative, but for pretty much like mobile devices, right? For mobile shells. A tool used to connect from a client computer to a server over the internet to run a remote terminal. Okay. Mosh is similar to SSH with additional features meant to improve usability for mobile users. Okay, yeah, so it's pretty much tailored for mobile users, but you can still use it over a terminal. Okay, and we see here mosh.org, we have a documentation page. What can we do next, right? We have that credential. Let's run a hashcat. The mode is going to be 0 as we saw on the hashcat modules. I'm not gonna go ahead and run this just because I already cracked this and I'd have to add an additional flag here. I was able to crack it extremely easy using RockU, and the password is underwater friend. So now that we have credentials, we can go ahead and SSH, right? SSH, SVC Mosh, let's go ahead and do that. And let's do 10.10.11.48 on port 22. And here we go. Password is underwater friends. And fantastic, we have a shell on SVC Mosh. First, let's go ahead and do an ls, and we find the user, and this has autocomplete. This is neat. What the fuck do we got to do to root this box? What starts going through your head? What else needs to start going through your fat brain in order to be able to get so fantastic, so wow, like me? Just dominating. Just absolutely dominating these fucking boxes. Real quick, I like running history. See if I can type right. We don't really have too much. So what's next? Sudo -l. Let's go ahead and run this command, right? What I like to do here, given that we have this pop open, and this is exactly what I did when I was running through this box, is, I have the documentation page open. I like to do a Control F, and if we paste Mosh Connect, we have almost the exact same thing pop up in here. And this is pretty much a Q&A, right? A Q&A of how to connect to this Mosh server. Here we see that it's connecting to something, but we don't have any sort of access right now, right? But that's fixing to change here in a second, right? We're fixing to get real fucking malicious. This is what we can run on the localhost. Mosh key. And I'm just gonna go ahead and copy all of this, control paste it here, and we'll go ahead and edit it. We have this key here, right? We have this key. Copy and paste it there. The only thing left to do here is to get real serious with the tactics, with the techniques, and just gain control. Maybe it timed out, right? So let's go ahead and we enter the root shell and root force. That's what we're here for, right? We're here to dominate, take control. Now take me back to the fucking command center. Super, super simple. I'm talking like, hey, it was easy to walk through this box, man. That's why you have these tools, right? We have these tools, and not just the tools, we have the tactics, we have the techniques. With our skill set, and with the skill set you'll learn here, you can become unstoppable.